Hi everyone, my name is Nitzan. I live in Kibbutz Kfar Sold. Kibbutz Kfar Sold. Is it better? All right, thanks. I live in Kibbutz Kfar Sold. Kibbutz Kfar Sold was named after Henrietta Sold. It is located 3.5 miles from the border with Lebanon. So I hope everyone got their pagers out from here. Since we are located 3.5 miles from the border, we were not evacuated because the evacuation zone is up to 3 miles. And that means we live basically in a war zone for the last almost a year. I have 2 boys, they are 8 and 12. I want to talk a bit about what it's like to live in Kfar Sold lately. So my boys, they need to study in shelters. We get sirens daily, whether there are rockets that are aimed at us or explosive drones. I'd like to speak a bit about how it's like to continue my career during this time. So try to imagine being in a Zoom meeting when there is a siren starting, and try to imagine doing that when you have up to 15 seconds to run to a safe room. 50 seconds is the optimistic scenario. Most of the time, we get the siren and the boom at the same time. Now try to imagine being in a meeting with non-Israelis. When there is a siren and you don't have time to explain or to say anything, you just need to drop and then probably explain what happened. I work in Herzliya 2 days a week. My biggest fear is what will happen if I'll be at work, far away from home, from my family, and something will happen. Once I was at the office in Herzliya and we got a message from the kibbutz. They need to close the gate. No one can get in, no one can get out. What do? I got into my car, started driving north, thinking I'll go as close as I can. If they'll let me in, good. If they won't, I'll just need to wait for them to let me in. Let me say that I am proud and lucky to be part of an amazing community, amazing kibbutz. Very soon after the war has started, we realized that our only way to go through it is to work together and to work one for another. We do whatever we can in order to create a routine, normal life for us, for our kids, for the seniors. We have created projects like education center. Since our kids' formal education was damaged, they only go to school for 4 hours a day. So we got kibbutz members volunteering, teaching kids whatever they want. They can teach math, they can teach dancing, cooking. And this is not just our kids that are getting benefits out of it, it's all of us. We know that once we are there one for another, we get stronger, we get resilient, and our amazing community, thank you. Thank you. And our amazing community got even stronger, which I think is amazing. I'm privileged to be here for the second time as part of a delegation that was planned by Michael Oren and arranged by Michael Oren, Ambassador Michael Oren. We were here in June and we are here again now. We've met dozens, and I'm not exaggerating, dozens of congressmen and congresswomen, Senate and House, whether they are from the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. You know, I was asked last time, we went to an interview, and we were asked, do we think that it will change something? What I had to say that I don't have the privilege to ask this kind of question. We are now at a point where we need to shape the future for our kids. We need to fight for our home, and this is what we're doing. We've went to 2 meetings in the White House. One of the things that we were told is that we don't need to be worried. I said, I'm a Jewish mom. This is what I do, right? I can say that I feel honored that I can maybe impact for a bit for the future of our kids, of our region, of our country, which we are not going to live. With that, I want to thank you all. I'd like to say that I think that during our previous delegation, we were here to raise awareness about the North. People didn't know what's going on. But now, situation is a bit different, and our message is, we are strong, we're not going anywhere, but we need help. We need our voice raised. We need people to echo our message and to tell our story. And I'd like your assistance with that. Tell whoever you know. Anything you've heard from me and touched you. And I think that will be the greatest help that we can get. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you again to Nitzan Daniel and to the entire delegation of Ambassador Michael Oren. So now we have our panel called From Corporate to Combat, the CEOs who dropped everything to join the front line. So as part of this panel, we have our wonderful moderator, Guy Franklin. Please welcome Guy Franklin. And our panelists, our CEOs, we have Bokobza, Shahar Abuazira, Brandon Kadosh, and Lital Leshem.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Oh, now. Thank you, Grace and the IAC. And Nitzan, this was an inspiration. I don't know where you are, but thank you. So, good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many people here and friends. So today, we will talk about what happened on October 7th, but not from the regular angle, but from a different angle, from the resilience and motivation of the Israeli entrepreneurs and CEOs who came from all over the world. Each one of these CEOs live in a different place on the globe, but all of them, on October 7th, left everything and went to Israel to join the IDF. So today we have Bokobza, co-founder and CEO of Venn, a New York-based startup. On October 7th, you find yourself on a vacation with 2 babies, with your wife, Tamara, who is here with us today, in Tel Aviv, and then the war started. What happened? Can you share with us what happened on October 7th from your side?
Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. You don't hear me? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so October the 7th was probably one of the most important days of my life. We were in Israel for a wedding on October 6th. We woke up in the morning to the sirens, and then it all started. And I remember myself waking up, starting to get those WhatsApp messages, and then I got this WhatsApp message from my unit saying, come as fast as you can. I didn't tell anything to Tamara. We had our baby, and we were all staying at my parents, my in-laws' house, and I just realized there is something different happening here. And I talked a lot about that in the past year, but I think that there was something different in this day that was very clear. There are three things that I had in mind this moment. The first of which was I have to make sure that the family is safe. I've been through those wars since 2004. I've participated in each and every one of them. But this time, it was the first time that I have two babies and wife, and it's something different, right? So the first thing that I did, I went to -3 in the building of my in-laws to see that there is a safe place for the family. And it's the first time it happened to me. And when I realized that I can leave them, I went and take my bag. I have my bag at home. And when I took the bag, Tamara just got in. And she saw me open the bag with Ben in her hand. And she said, "What is it?" And I said, "It is what it is. And I will need to go." And Tamara is Ola Chadasha. She moved to Israel 7 years ago. It was the first time for her to see me wear a uniform. And I just left, and it was very obvious that this is what I need to do. 3 hours later, at around 12 at noon, I was in Be'eri with my team, and I came back to see them in London 4 weeks afterwards for the first time for 24 hours, and I came back for another 2 months. And there is a lot of story to tell, but I think the most important one that I'm not unique, and no one here is unique. There were 300,000 people like us who left everything and just did what was the right thing to do. And I couldn't think about any other thing to do when I was leaving. And we will talk a lot about the company and what happened in between. But it was very clear that the priorities now are the family, Israel, and then the company. And we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Amazing. Thank you all. Lital, we met 2 days before October 7th in New York for a meeting. The future was promising. We discussed a few projects. And then you went back to Israel a day before October 7th. You were pregnant, I think in the 6th month. Since then you have a baby. What happened on your side on October 7th in the morning?
Wow. Well, as Or said, I guess that specific day had a lot of impact on each one of us in the audience, not only us that were actually drafted into reserves. I came back from New York, as you mentioned, Friday, October 6th. I came back after a business trip, which was very fruitful. I actually told you I was pregnant at that meeting that we met. But I landed back in Israel on Friday morning, very happy with the trip. And I woke up on October 7th to alarms. Me and my husband were in bed. We got out, and immediately I looked at my WhatsApp messages, and I've also seen a message that is asking to come as soon as possible. It was pretty clear that Order 8 is on the way, and I wasn't even thinking. I took the uniform, I started to get dressed, and my husband grabbed me and he said, "Where do you think you're going?" And I said, "What do you mean? I was cold. You'll be cold in a minute as well." He said, "Yeah, okay, but it's not like always. You're 6 months pregnant. You're not only responsible for yourself." And I said, "Well, I must admit that for a second there I did forget I was pregnant." Just for a second. I remembered pretty quickly later. But my dad called me and started yelling at me as well that I'm not going anywhere. But it was all white noise. It was obvious for me that I'm going. And I got on my uniform, half of my uniform, that the pants didn't fit. But I had to improvise there. And my husband came with me. We couldn't drive all the way to the command. All of my service was in Gaza Command. Gaza Strip Command as an operational officer. We couldn't get there. Everything was blocked. We couldn't even understand what was happening. Specifically, it was 8 in the morning. Me personally, I thought there was a cyber attack. I was sure that all the notifications, Twitter, Telegram, whatever information was floating in my phone, I was sure that this is fake news. No way this has happened. One of the first messages I get is that Nahal Oz, which was the base that I served in, was conquered. I read it and I laughed. I said, "Who the hell believes that? That's not a scenario that could actually happen in Israel." Me and my husband got on the car. We drove all the way to Beersheba, where the Southern Command operations are. We went into the war room at 9 a.m. in the morning just to understand that everything, all the information that just came through all the different channels were just a fraction of what was actually happening. The situation was much, much, much worse than what we could even imagine. And that's where I started my 3 full months of service, just because I had to go to the delivery room at a certain point. And yeah, we'll talk about the implementations of that later on.
Yeah, thank you, Lital. Amit, last time we met was actually in an ISC conference in January 2023.
Yeah, exactly. The last time we met was last year at Austin at the same conference. I came here as a guest, now I came as a speaker, so next year I'm going to go as a donor.
Exactly. So since then, so much happened in your life, personal life, and also in all of our life. You were called to the IDF, and something amazing happened to you in your personal life, in your business life, in the meanwhile where you were in the IDF, and also you were injured during the operations. Can you share with us your amazing story of what happened to you?
So first of all, I don't think it's that amazing. Try to stay modest. But so prior to what happened on 7th of October, I was going back and forth between Austin and Tel Aviv for quite a while, for like 3.5 years. We started the company in Austin, and I had a ticket back on the 10th of October when Saturday 7th happened. I think 4 days after that, I enlisted and joined my reserve unit at the northern border. And what happened from that point, it was like surreal. We haven't even thought that it is in that such of a magnitude what happened. Like Lital said, we thought that it's probably a cyber attack. We haven't thought that it's really serious. And as we continued the operation and getting prepared for the northern front, I understand that we're faced into something much greater than we thought. All of the R&D in the company was in Israel as well, and all of them were enlisted. Some of them in engineering, in Handasa, and some of them in cyber as well. So as we proceed towards November, I decided to freeze operation for a bit for the company because that was the right thing to do back at the time. And what happened is I gathered all of the business partners and told them, hey guys, we're going to freeze operation for a bit. And you know how Americans are, they don't like no for an answer. So one of them says like, hey, we want to acquire you anyway, so I want to give you an offer. And up until that point, we haven't even thought about like being acquired. We were 3.5 years operating, just pivoted, doing a lot of stuff, just hit our product market fit, so it was good. And it was 10:30 p.m. up north in around Mount Hermon, where I was stationed. He called me on Zoom, went on a Zoom, gave us the offer, 72-hour window, yes or no negotiation. Yes or no, no negotiation. And I was like, every good Israeli, okay, I have 72 hours to find a better deal. And the funny part is that God has a different plan. On the next day, 7 a.m., I was on my way to the hospital with a couple of my units. Buddies, we were hit by an anti-tank missile. Back at Mount Helmon, I fractured 2 ribs. All of us survived the hit. But it got me thinking on my way to the hospital, what are my priorities in life? And for me, it was one word, which is family. So I decided to go with the acquisition and sell the company. And that's pretty much what happened.
Thank you, Amit. We will leave at the end 10 minutes for questions. So be prepared if you have any question to these amazing CEOs. Shahar, you're executive director at Ariel, dealing with drones. In your day-to-day business operations, you're on the seller side, the developer side. On October 7th, you find yourself on the other side as a user of the products that you develop. Can you share with us your story?
Absolutely. So maybe I will just say I'm running this drone company. It's based in Brooklyn. We are building pretty big autonomous aerial vehicles, which we are deploying them all around the world. But I'm also run over here in DC a consulting and investment firm, and that's my primary job. And what we do is helping Israeli defense tech startups to transition into the US market. I would say the name of the company is Alpha Dawn, and we are I would say probably the leading firm in the US to do it. We helping the companies to adjust the products to the US users. We are transitioning the manufacturing. We are helping them to build the staff over here and build the local capabilities, and also doing fundraising. So I would say we've been extremely busy in the last 5 years. We transitioned almost 60 companies from Israel to the US, raised funds for almost 25 companies, sold 7 companies. So this has been very busy, and all of those companies are developing the most disruptive, unique technologies, defense technologies. And going back to what you asked me, so first, it's not the first time, but me as a developer, the things that we are looking for most is the feedback from the operators. Usually it's the US operators. In this case, I found myself a soldier, an officer, using in the same systems that in the day-to-day I develop and sell, counter-US technology, drones, robotics, software tools, weapon systems, you name it. And the impact, it's kind of like a dual impact, because first, let's call it, you see the problems as an operator. You see the issues, and it's definitely something that happened. I live here, by the way. I'm local. On October 7, I flew back home. I told my wife, that's her, I told my wife that this time is serious. It's going to be at least 2 weeks. Yeah, I came back after with a short break, but I was deployed twice for like about 3.5 months in Israel, and really any chance. Thank you. It's absolutely because unique situation, because in one hand, exactly like Or was mentioning, I wasn't like balancing. I was 100% over there. I called management at Ariel, that's the Brooklyn-based company. I called my clients, and I told them basically operation is on hold. 100% of it. My clients knew that I'm, that I'm gone and the operation is on hold. the drone company, they just like had to manage by themselves. But any chance that I had, I used to just send, feedbacks, comments, fix this, do that. And when I came back, it was very interesting to see the situation after being, using with the systems. And also it was a unique situation because even over there, the technology developers from the IDF, they knew I was there. And from time to time, they just used to call me. Yeah, absolutely. They were looking for the feedback, looking for the way to implement it right. My main business is the U.S. side. I work with the U.S. Department of Defense. So when I get back, obviously lessons learned transitioned also to our allies over here.
Amazing story. Thank you, Shahar. Yeah, so from Israel, Texas, DC, New York, and myself also in New York, by the way. So all of them doing amazing things to support Israel. Even in New York, what we did on the other side, I was one of 4 that opened the command room in New York City, and we helped 3,000 soldiers who got called to reserve, Tzav 8, to go back to Israel in different flights at no cost from all over America in 10 days. Through donations from private jets to Israel Air Force Center and Hercules to El Al flights, we helped all these soldiers from CEOs of startups to the juniors in the companies. It doesn't really matter what your position. Everyone joined the IDF, and we took leverage actually of the amazing Israeli tech ecosystem in New York. There are 450 Israeli startups in New York, so all of them joined this effort. The employees and the CEOs of the companies to support the soldier to go back to Israel. And this will connect us to the second phase of the panel, the connection between what you did in the IDF to the business you are running. And I will start with you with Lital. So for you, it's something special because you built something new out of it from your service during the war. Share with us your story, and it's a scoop, so it's not published yet. So listen to Lital.
Yeah, it's not published yet. And this is a great platform to share. Maybe a bit of background about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I spent most of my earlier career in the different systems in Israel. So as I mentioned, I spent 7 years in the IDF, still a major in reserves. Most of them were in the Southern Command and Gaza Strip as an operational officer. I did another 4.5 years in the Intelligence Corps in different operational roles. And in 2014, I made the shift into the entrepreneurial path. I founded my first company named Carbine, which basically builds next generation 911 systems, completely changes the way people interact with the different emergency authorities in distress situations. A company that today is over 200 employees, raised $140 million, operational around the world, headquarters in New York, R&Ds in Israel. And from everything I told you, this company saves lives on a daily basis, which is probably my biggest pride from everything. I moved to New York in 2017 with Mobileye after they were acquired by Intel with the famous exit of $15.3 billion. I moved to New York. I led their entire business development in North America. And then I moved to the venture side. I joined as a partner to a private equity based in Washington named Frontier that invested mainly in the defense industry worldwide. I opened our Israeli operations. I kept living in New York. We had an office in Abu Dhabi, in Washington, and in UK, and I founded everything that had to do with Israel, also sourcing the local defense technologies in the Israeli ecosystem, which is one of the leading in the world. So I did that for 5 years, and I got back to Israel a year and a half ago. I joined another VC as a managing partner and led the growth opportunities for this fund. I had the chance to lead 2 opportunities in space tech investments, and then October 7 happened. And basically when that happened, me and my partner, her name is Lee Moser, she's also from the venture side, and I was drafted, as mentioned. She led the philanthropical side of Brothers and Sisters for Israel, which is one of the largest aid organizations in Israel. And about a month into the war, I got out for a quick refresh, and we've met, grabbed our head and said, where is all this going? I mean, this is not a 2 weeks session at this time, unfortunately. And we actually also thought about closing the operations, or couldn't even think about raising funds for any opportunities or investments, neither Israel or anywhere around the world. And basically, we're getting a phone call that same day with one of our LPs, one of our investors from Baltimore. He actually calls us up and he says, listen, I know you're over the top, but excuse my French, move your ass here to the US, come talk to us. We don't know what's going on. Fox News, CNN, we don't understand what's happening. People are taking off the mezuzahs from their doors, hiding, taking off their Magen David necklaces. Come tell us what's happening. Give us some strength, some hope. And we actually joined forces with a survivor out of Nirim, which is one of the kibbutzim in the Gaza envelope. He had a crazy story, but he survived. And him, and my partner Lee got on a plane. We traveled for 14 days. We've been through 12 different countries, states, had 4 or 5 events a day. Just spoke to anybody who wanted to hear. I gave the military perspective, she gave the civilian aid perspective, and Amos, who joined us, gave his own testimonial. And basically, we just spoke to everybody who wanted to hear. It was a lot for Israel. We just wanted to make our voice sound. And through all of those events, you can imagine that everybody wanted to do good for Israel. Some of them wanted to come to Israel, pick cherries. Some of them wanted to donate. And we had the privilege of meeting one of the largest private equities out of California, who actually decided it's time to double down on Israel, where it hurts the most. You can imagine that would be anything that has to do with the defense tech in Israel. Fast forward to today. What Guy was talking about is the fact that next month we're going to launch the first defense tech fund in Israel, first VC in Israel that will do only defense, only Israel, and support the local ecosystem.
Amazing. Thank you, Lital. Oh, you have an amazing company, Venn. 2 things. Can you share with us, please, what Venn is doing? And the second thing is how the growth of the company is being impacted from your service during the war.
So before I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Venn, I think that one of the most inspiring processes that I've been through in the past year was going back to serve. I was going back to serve for 3 months. I served in the army 10 years in my history. And it was the first time I went back for so long. And there was so many circles that connected the war to our day-to-day. We have 90 employees, 70 out of 70 employees are in Israel, most of them engineers, product, and designers. And the rest of the company is in Israel, in New York. And since the inception of the company, it was very important for my co-founder and myself. My co-founder, by the way, served with me in the same team, in the same unit in Israel. And it was so important for us to bring our values to the company. And the question, what is those values, right? And I want to give you 2 small stories about how we believe that these values are present in the company and how important for us, and an Israeli company. By the way, Venn is an Israeli company. Back in 2017, when we started the company, the tax advisors at Ernst & Young told us that we are absolutely crazy to do that. And I said, move on to the next thing. It's going to be an Israeli company because this is part of our identity and we want to pay tax in Israel. And they was looking at me so weird. And it's all connected to so many different things that we've done. And the morning of October 8th, after 24 hours without sleep, the first thing that I wanted to do is to write an email to the entire company. And this email point probably 30% to the Israeli team, but 70% to the American team. And I wanted to share with them a small story from the first day. And the story was about me getting into the unit at 11 a.m. And when I got to the unit, the first thing that I've been told is like, take this, take that, this is your open, get into the car, they will explain you in the way. I said, what? Yeah, get in and drive. I'm a driver as well. But then the commander took us all together and said something that I will never forget. Guys, think about it, we are in this, we call it in Hebrew, chet, waiting there and listening. He said, you're going to see the worst of the worst. It's going to change your life. And I want to ask you one thing. Even when you're going to see all of these things, don't forget your values. Don't forget where you came from. And deal with this situation right. And this is one of the first sentences that I shared with the team here. Because I wanted to tell them that the first thing that the soldier is being taught is not when to kill, is when and how not to kill. And this is so important for me. And this is a very big part of our identity, because exactly 12 hours later, when we caught 2 Nukhba guys, and I had this feeling that maybe these 2 guys that was on the field, in the middle of the field, and we were chasing them, are maybe farmers. Maybe they are looking for a job, and they were both naked, and there were 12 guns pointing to them. And my heart went to them. Think about this crazy thing after we saw everything that we saw. And I'm looking at 2 of them, and I said, maybe we are wrong, maybe they are not part of them, poor guys. And then I asked them, where are you guys from? And they said, yeah, we're just farmers here. They spoke in Arabic. And I said, guy, wait. I told everybody I was the commander of this operation. And then I went to him, I said, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Yehuda v'Shomron. And I said, okay, guys, wait, he's not part of this. And then I came back and I said, wait, do you have kids? He said, yes. Where are the kindergarten? What's the name of their mora? What's the name of the hospital that you go to? And he started to be very, very confused. So after 5 minutes, he admitted that he's from Gaza. And you probably know how it ended up. We didn't kill him, we took him. But I think that this moment explained to you the difference between who we are and who they are. And I'm sorry, it's like a long story. I can talk a lot about the company, but for me, the most important thing is to share those stories, to explain the difference between our values and their values. And I think those values also helped us a lot to make such a dedicated team who are willing to do whatever needed to do to grow. And this team, by the way, 25% of our company left to reserve duties. And the other 75% work like 4 times better than what we used to have. And I took those Zooms meetings every 2 weeks, and I was like, guys, we are running way faster than we ever had. And it also taught me that going back and having this team united and believe in the mission, in the values of the leaders, and doing whatever it takes to win, because there is a reason to win. It helped us to grow from 30,000 units were apartment units where our technology is implemented to almost 200,000 units 12 months after. And we never had this experience. And I think it's all because of those values, and it's all because of the fact that we kept our value and we told those values and we said, guys, we are here to stay and we want everybody to know about our story. And I think that this was very, very powerful for our team, and this is why I believe that we will keep growing, because this is the foundation of everything. It doesn't matter what we do.
Thank you all. That was inspiring. Shahar, kind of the same question to you. How was your experience impacted your leadership skills when you came back? You have two hats, the operations in DC and Easy Ariel. Can you share with us?
So, actually, the embarrassing part is that all my portfolio companies and also like Easy Ariel had a record year in sales and revenues while I was gone for almost like 5 months. I do defense tech. I do the defense tech, and maybe the only, I would say, positive side of in the past year is that the defense companies are doing amazing. And again, I need now to explain my investors why, to keep me doing what I do. But it's really the case. It's really the case. We did great. Now is the challenge to keep that pace. And I can say that it's divided. I would say my involvement is divided to two. First, I work with investors. I work with many like family offices, Jewish family offices, and what was amazing is that even that they are invested, dozens of millions of dollars in the companies that I operate, they could care less about their investment during the time that I was like in Israel. I was coming back, turning on my phone like every few days, and just like my WhatsApp had like hundreds of messages from investors just like asking what's going on, say that you're okay, do you need something, do you need equipment, donations, and I don't remember even one person asking me, so who is running the company or, while you are there. So this is like one side which was, inspiring and like amazing. The other side, the companies that I work at, I honestly rarely work with Israelis. Like in Easy Ariel, all the employees are like American, and the companies I operate the US side. All the employees are Americans. They are not like Israelis. And I'm, I definitely hear what Or was saying, and it's all about, values and really what's matter. And I think it was, reflected to the employees to see this, person works on the weekends is like, like the startup, the Israeli startup dynamic is the most unbalanced, unproportional thing. It's you're working crazy hours on the weekends. Every day is like a war. I'm sure that you all can relate, and suddenly you are going and you just don't care about it. People are asking me how you balanced it. I didn't. I just didn't care about what's going on in the US. I gotta admit. I was like 100% over there, asking myself why, I think you're always younger than me, but I was asking why I'm not just doing that every time, why I'm not moving back, like to Israel. This is all I can think of. And I would just say that for me, the biggest achievement as somebody that, someone lives here for so long, the biggest achievement was that when I came back, it was very clear, at least to my older daughter, she's soon to be 15, that she's going to join, she will do Aliyah and she will join the IDF. That was very clear, and that's a huge achievement, for me.
Thank you, Shahar. We have 10 minutes left. I will ask a quick question, Amit, and then we'll refer to the audience. Amit, what message you want to convey future startup leaders in terms of balancing between their startup life, the IDF life and reserve, that's the situation we are now in, and what message you have to them?
Well, I don't know what about the panel members over here, but during the war, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours and cried. Okay, that's what happened basically. So about balance, I don't think the terminology. I think we put a lot of emphasis about balance and in terms of like, okay, we need to have that life-work balance. But I think each of us from this respected panel build their life and their companies in a way that they love what they're doing. So they don't need a work-life balance. They don't need a vacation from their work because they love what they're doing. So in terms of balancing that, I think if you build the foundation first as a company you believe in, as something that you want to do, you don't really need to maintain those work-life balance. I don't mean those with babies, of course. That's the different issue.
I think Lital has something to say about balance and to choose between both.
Well, the only thing I would say, first of all, I agree with everything that you said. I think we have a different DNA in terms of balancing or how we view balance in our life with very high volume. But I want to say that my advice would be to stop. It's okay to stop. It's okay to stop for a day, for 2 days. I think it's okay. Not even if you're, regardless if you have a baby or not, just because there's a lot happening. And I want to say that the second thing I would advise, again, from my own perspective, is to be nice to people around you. Because personally, I feel in Israel, everybody are so tense. They're handling so much. Even when you're standing in line to buy fruits in the supermarket or in the road, driving to work and back in the traffic, just be nice to each other. Because we're all going through a lot.
Thank you, Lital. Thank you. Before we thank the amazing panelists, now is the time for questions from the audience. I see a first hand over there. You have a mic.
Hi, so first I want to say thank you for everything you guys have done. It's really amazing, and it's decisions that you guys make that, and the systems that you build, the businesses, that's what drives us forward as a people. So I want to say thank you for that. My question is this, so I'm from the University of Miami, and a couple of days ago we had Minister Barakat come in, and he gave an amazing talk, and at the end someone asked him, what can we do to help as much as we can with this effort as American students, and his answer was very simple, make an aliyah. And so my question is to you, I'm speaking from the perspective of a younger generation, and a lot of us, before October 7th, our plan was go to school, get a nice job here, family, etc. But I think there is a real opportunity to shift that and to get a lot of these people to move to Israel, to make an aliyah, to contribute, and they call it brain drain, right? To get the smartest, most capable people out of America, which has a lot of opportunity, but to go to Israel. So my question is this, and I'm going to write down what you guys say as an answer, and I'll take this back and share it. So what would you guys, if you had to give a sales pitch to a student to explain to them and to make the case for why you should consider going to Israel after you graduate and using your skills and talents over there instead of pursuing opportunities here, what advice would you give, and how would you make that pitch?
I suggest that one of you will answer, so we'll have more room for more questions. So,
wow, this is. What's your name?
My name is Akiva Elkin.
Akiva. It's an amazing question. I have the long version. I will catch you after. But I will give you a very high-level answer. And I'm going back to, it's not about our companies today, I guess. When I left in the 24th of December, when I left Gaza, I called Tamara. I was driving very slowly back home. She was in London. And I told her, Tamara, I think that I'm going to quit Venn. And I'm going to go back to the army or going back to politics. I feel that everything that they do is nonsense. And Tamara, with her pureness, told me, she didn't say, are you fucking crazy? She said, come back home, let's talk about it at home. And when I came back home, she reminded me, she's also an entrepreneur. She's running her own company, Rise Up. And she reminded me that building a successful company is a very big part of Zionism. And I wrote a big article about it, about the new Zionism and why it's important for so many of us to build company, to drive the economy. And the reason I give you this whole story is because when I left, I felt a sense of urgency to lead. And I think that leadership is not just about one thing. My biggest advice to you is to lead. And there is 6 words that have been followed all my life. I don't know whom of you speak Hebrew, but I will say it in Hebrew and then in English. דבר אמת, התווה דרך, ותן תקווה. And this is for me, like, it's a tell the truth, pave the way, and give hope. And everything that I do and say, it's always about those 3 elements. And what I'm telling you is, דבר אמת, התווה דרך, and תן תקווה, and make sure that it's in the context of Israel, because this guy here, Herzl, we have streets in every city in Israel named Herzl, and we are waiting for the next Herzl. And maybe we need 100 or 1,000 more Herzls to help the company move forward. And I will finish by 2 more words that I finished my last article. It's about חולמים and לוחמים. Okay? So it's the same words, it's the same letters. Dream big and fight for what you believe in, and bring it also to Israel.
Or maybe the next Herzl should come from the US. I'm saying, maybe the next Herzl should come from the US.
Exactly.
Like the one came from.
We're going to run you to presidency.
Thank you, Akiva. Yana.
So, first of all, thank you guys for your service and for the inspiration. That is really, really something that we all need to hear. So I run a project with the help of Reichman University to assist reservists in coming back a little bit to career and business. And what I'm seeing is very heartbreaking in terms of a lot of reservists that have given so much to the country, and they're not getting not the understanding, not the support for many companies. So I do see a difference when it's an Israeli company or an American one. But even some Israeli companies do not really provide the support. Even if they don't fire them, many of them don't really know how to get back on track. So I was wondering with you guys, the ones that do have reservists in their companies, do you have some different strategy given what you've been through? And if you don't, is there anything that you would recommend that maybe we can try to implement to help those people?
So I want to tell you like a story. It's a funny story, but it's a true story. I had like a break during one of the activities, and I went to eat shawarma. I'm coming from the US. I went to eat shawarma. I entered like some place in Petach Tikva. I came to the cashier, and like a 15-year-old is like stopping me and saying to me, "You're not paying, my friend." I told him, I was like obviously on uniforms. And I told him, "No, that's good. I can pay. I'm a reservist. That's good." He told me, "You're not paying. You can go grab any kind of drink that you want. That's on me." And I must.
You told them, but my company is now selling crazy.
But it was so like, those small things are like so important. But I just want to say that during the war, I think it was very clear that there is something special that is happening, like with soldiers, with like especially reservists, and I can tell you there is a lot of like impact, general impact on the general community. I just want to say, this tiny small community of reservists, they've been around before the war started. Okay. So, and this is very important to say. It looks like now that, everybody are like soldiers, and, we have hundreds of thousands of reservists. In normal days, it's not like this, okay? This community that serve and actually do like combat roles or combat support roles is like tiny. It's really tiny. A few percentage of the population. And
It's not that tiny. It's not that tiny. You live in DC too long.
Yeah,
It's not that tiny.
Okay,
It's not that tiny at
so I will say to my young friend over here that it is tiny. It is tiny comparing, like, for people I mean that every year leaves everything and goes serve for like 35 days. It's significant. It's challenging, and it's hard. Students, professionals, and I think it's important to remember it the next day. Second, I will say for like companies that are, regarding the support that they will give to reservists, I think that we should just be very clear about our approach when companies are not. Like we can't reward too much the companies that I think that are. But in general, we need to show less tolerance for companies that are firing employees, companies that are not hiring, for example, if you are a lieutenant colonel, a brigade commander, you want to find a job, who will take you if you serve 90, 100 days a year? Like, who will take you? And I think this is about us, people. Definitely there's stuff that the country and the government needs to do to reward this small community.
I don't think it's related to the government. If I can add just 1 second to that, because this is a subject that's very close to my heart, because most of my units that came together were scattered. We haven't been in combat so long, so the core of our being is being deployed once when, sorry for my friend, shit hit the fan. Okay, and that's what happened, shit hit the fan. And a lot of them happen to be like myself, serving 7 months in battle, not knowing what they're going to do next. And you absolutely said it's a huge problem. And I can share from my own perspective, what I have done at least, is helping them fight their own personal battle rather than finding comfort and dependency in the government, which I don't know what your opinion are, but it's not really helpful. So they have to get up and understand that they have to keep the sense of optimism and resilience as well in their personal life as they do in battle. So what I did really hands-on technically is when I sat down with them, we had a couple of hours on break and stuff, we talked about how we can refine their resume. And a lot of them laughed at me. It's a funny story. I applied, I think for Venn, maybe. And you sent me a rejection email. Yeah, I applied for my resume, because I wanted to show them, show them off. Yeah, my resume is good and blah, blah, blah. And I applied for a position in Venn, and you sent me a decline email 2 days later. And yeah, so they were like, we're not gonna believe what you're saying about the resume. So, but yeah, that's
when was it?
Huh?
When was it?
I think it was around February. Check your email.
Check your email.
Okay. So I know that we need to
Last
run.
sentence
Yes. Your brother-in-law happened to be my VP product. We just realized it an hour ago. Okay. I want to talk about it from the positive side of the house. Okay. His brother-in-law is one of the smartest people I know, for real. He was 11 years in the army, and he built a product called Tirat HaAgam. Tirat HaAgam is the operating system of the war. Okay, he was the product manager of the operating system of the war. When you see all the commander, his brother-in-law, really smart. And yeah,
Brother-in-law, not brother, but
brother-in-law.
and he took my sister, so that's his biggest achievement.
Okay, yeah,
My
and,
sister.
correct. So I'm getting to the point. Okay, he left for 2.5 months. I had no VP product for 2.5 months. Nothing. He was there. Okay. When he came back, the amount of things, the amount of progress that we had with the product, because he came back with so many ideas, was amazing. And every single person who came back with this team, with this team spirit of coming back and to win, is a big thing. And I think that there is a lot of achievement to get from sending people to fight with their friend. I have a lot to tell about. I wrote an article about this specifically called the New Zionism. Look for it. It's really pureness about those people who go, fight, and come back and bring so much value to those companies.
And I'll add to that just one more sentence, Guy. I'm sorry, but those people are the one that we're going to invest in.
Amazing.
Exactly those people.
No, but don't take them from me.
So thank you, Lital, Amit, Shahar, and Dor. This was a real inspiration. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.